The banks are still holding the market down and tech stocks are still rallying, so the S&P will suffer while the NASDAQ and its tech stocks will make new highs. In this case, we're still looking for this corrective rally to play out. Now, as I mentioned, we're looking for bearish moves because we're under the 4,000. We don't have the 4,000 as the tested support, so that's why we're on that side. So this is just this is the SPX here, and we're looking at this corrective rally retesting the 4,000. I can say that there is some nice volume in this space as well, so just looking quickly on the daily chart here. This is just my bullish count here, but we can see that, I won't go into reading all of that, but you can see that, and some of that's from the downside, but still, there's a fair bit of volume going on here, but we don't have that 4,000 as a support yet, so that's the critical issue at that point. We can look at the SPY here as well, the SPY. It's not on support here just yet, so this bullish count may not be valid at this point. We know that the Russell is really quite weak. Anything to do with the banks is on the softer side. So yeah, and on the NASDAQ side here, this is pretty much how stocks are looking by the by. So this is just on 1,000 ticks, and we're going from wave 4 going up here to wave 5 up here. So we're looking at it as 1 in blue and 2, and then green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third. It looks like we've got some sort of triangle pattern here that we talked about in the last video, so the A, B, C, D, E here, and then pushing up here, so we want to take that high out. So yeah, I mean 13 was our target. We never really quite sort of met it over here, but it doesn't really matter if you meet them or don't meet them, but yeah, we still got further to the upside. Yeah, this is pretty much how stocks are looking in this way. What we're looking for stocks is, another move to the upside. So the Monday and the Tuesday, we will see how this trend develops. So we're looking. You can look for long trades in all of this. So yeah, we've got to get to the top, and then we've got to turn again. We thought we may get it at this point, but we just really weren't seeing a nice 5-wave structure coming down in the first leg here, so it made it a little bit sort of difficult at that point. So anyway, that's kind of really where we are, and most stocks in their own way are kind of in this particular space as well, in their own way. So with Apple here, this is the bearish count for Apple, so we can, well, it's kind of bullish, but it's just that it's an A wave here and a B wave up here and a C wave down here. We can have a bit more of a look at this, but this would also be the little triangle pattern here, but in this case you could probably just look at it as a flat, as an A and a B and a C here, and we'll see this move up and take this top out here. So 165 is roughly the 78.6% retracement level at this point. Yeah, so we can look at it in different ways. Let's just go to the daily chart here, beginning of the week. It's good to look at it. So this will be the bullish count in this space, and we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then a little third wave here, or fourth and fifth. So we'd have a wave 1 up here and back for wave 2 at that point. So we could look at it like that. We could look at the bearish count in a couple of different ways. This is one way to look at it here. So with an A and a B and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, taking it up another leg to the upside. So we're expecting it to top out here, but it's pretty reasonable to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 up to this point. So yeah, I mean, we're just tying this into bearish counts really. Yeah, so that's sort of it at this point, but yeah, the 165 is really where we're sort of looking for this to go at this point, and this will also be a bullish count as well. Well, yeah, this is another way to look at it as well, with 1 and 2 here and then 1 and 2 here. So it'll be interesting to see once we get sort of past this. We're getting to the point, you know, with this market and Amazon and others, where we will only be left with a you know, bullish count at some point. But we need to play it out because of where the banks are and some of the indices are as well. We'll just cruise in and just have a look at some variations on these. This is the this is a bit like Tesla, this one here. So we're looking for this move here and then a move back into this space and then a move up from that point. And yeah, this will allow banks to finish off and a few other markets at that point. So we'll just see. It's kind of, you know that most of the markets sort of move together, so that's why we really need to, you know, tie them into each other to a point, which makes some of the counts a little bit weird at times. But you know, if Tesla and those are going to come down, and well, then this is going to come down as well. Otherwise, they all continue to go up, and at what, you know, at a certain point, we'll be forced to go long. To be forced to be bullish at that point. So yeah, anyway, in the meantime, we've got Monday and Tuesday to the upside, so you can trade long at that point. This is the same for Amazon as well. We can expect it to retest the 100. Now this is a bearish count for Amazon, so we're looking for it to retest the 100 and then move down at that point. We were looking for the short trade the other day, but we're looking, it's not there yet, so we need to wait this out. And of course there is a bullish count for all of this as well, so there's a couple of ways to look at it as bullish, but at the end of the day, we'd need a classic trading levels pattern on the 100 area here, and that's not there at the moment. So the takeaway is that the market needs to move up, and if you're going to trade long, make sure that you exit before you get to the 100. And any long trade setup here is going to take a while to get to that particular point. So trade to the level and get out. NVIDIA. So with NVIDIA here, we're looking at, well, the same sort of pattern that we're seeing elsewhere, but you could probably view that a little bit differently. But in a nutshell, we're looking for a move up higher at this point. We're not ready to short this at this stage. So the trade is long, and you can keep the stop pretty much under the 265 here. We're in terms of the trading levels, we're in group 2 now. We're sort of sitting in there quite nicely. So yeah, we can put that in here, and this will be a little wave 1 and so on. So yeah, pushing to the upside. I think we'll be at wave 5, but it's possible that we could be at wave 3. This will we'd also look at this as wave 1 to the upside, but yeah, we should pull back at that point. But yeah, let's just see. It's possible for it to be a wave 3 there. That would sort of bring it in with Apple at this point. So the takeaway is to be on the long side and not the short side, with the stop under the 265. Don't put it on the 265. And Meta platforms here, we've just been really counting this up from this point as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up here. So there's still another little move to move up there, and then this will pull back in line with some of these other big tech stocks that are bullish, because, you know, stocks like Tesla and Meta platforms here from the low have got 5 waves to the upside. Yeah, look, it's possible to look at them as being bearish as well. I don't know if I've got that on the 50k tick chart here. Yeah, so it would, in this case, it would be the A, the B, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this will be the 50-60% retracement level. You know, and there's a good case for that too, in terms of 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third. So there's a good case for it to be bearish. So all we can do is wait for this to top out, and of course we can short it, and 61.8% will be down here somewhere. So we can short it, but we'll just have a look how it comes down. You know, if it's going to be a, if this is going to be wave 1 up here, this will be an A and a B and a C wave down here. And then when we get down to the bottom here, we'll just keep an eye on it, and we could start building in trades and see where the rest of the market is as well for all of this. In terms of shorting this though, we want to be under the, let's just go to the 1000 here for a moment. So these are, that's where we left off the other day. So wave 4 with 1 and 2. And then up for wave 3 here, and we've got that same pattern here. So you could look at it as a triangle. You can't count it any way you want, but the main point is that we should be seeing further upside, and we're not going to short this unless we have you know, a classic trading levels pattern to the downside. So we'll need the first low below the level. Of course, we may be able to improve on that, but in a nutshell, we're looking for that first low below the level, a bit like this here, but something a bit deeper would be nice. And then we can go from that point. But yeah, in the meantime, we're still to the upside. It's a little bit sort of quirky in here, the way that you could probably count this in different ways to the upside. I've just got it as a triangle pattern again. Is it right? An A, B, C, D, and E here? I don't know. I mean, you could probably look at it. It'll come out in the wash depending on how this looks to the upside here. Could I count this differently in here? Possibly, but it doesn't really matter. The support's at 205, and you can trade up to 210 at that point, leaving the stop under this current low here. So that's not a lot to be had, but you know, a little bit. So Netflix here, we're up in the 50% retracement level now. So we'll have to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then going up for 5. So yeah, I mean, wave 5 is going to be shorter than this leg here. One's got the extension in it, so wave 5 should be shorter. So not much here. I think the short side would be better at this point, but we'll wait for that to top and turn and confirm, and then set up at that point. With Enphase here, I haven't really pulled this apart, but I know it's going to rally in line with the rest of the market, and when the market drops through a large number, it likes to go back and test it. So we'll see that test go in there. We can short it under here, but obviously we'll try to look for a better you know, the second low at that point for a short trade at that point. So in the bigger picture here, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, you know, 1 and 2 don't normally play out, but I think it's sort of the best fit for the time being. It's possible to look at this as 5 waves up as well, but we've still got a lot of pressure to the downside. So yeah, I wouldn't bother trading up on that too much. It's a little bit sort of limited. There'll be orders, sell orders coming in at 198, in 199. It'll build up there. So look, Google here has got the same pattern across the board. In this case, you could probably look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, then up for 1 and 2. So look, you can trade long up here if you wanted to. I'll just put that there, and the stop can just go under here for that. Would you get to 108? I mean, it's going to be a bit rough around here, but anyway, there's a bit of a long trade there. I won't put that there, but that's all good. So it's a bit of a day traders thing on Monday, and Tuesday morning you should see a little bit of profit taking, and then the trend trying to resume Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday may create the high for the week. But yeah, you don't want to get caught in the Wednesday and Thursday. They're the swing days. Once again, same here with Microsoft as well. It's taken a while to sort of get up there. I mean, it really looks like we could count it as 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So you know, you could go for the long trade at this point. I don't think, I mean, it just looks like 5 waves there, you know. So it might go a bit higher than we think. But anyway, that's a green light. And Berkshire Hathaway here. Now I've got this as the bearish count, but it's possible to have a bullish count as well, and have wave 2 here and wave C or 4 here. The picture would need to change from these these higher lows coming into place here, so that would need to change at that point. If this pops up here, then that will leave this low here to short at that point there as well. So nothing to be had here today on this. I wouldn't go long when you're so close to a large number here and it hasn't sorted itself out. And Tesla, so with Tesla here, we've got, you look at this in two different ways. We could look at it as an A and a B and a C wave down here for wave 2, and then I could build this into 5 waves here. That's not a problem. But for me to call a long trade in, I need the arrival, which we have, and the reaction, which we have. We'd need the first high above the level, and then we'll need the ABC pattern here for that, and then we can go long over here for that, and we may be able to build something in here if all of this looks good as well. But in the meantime, we're just looking for a move up and then a move down at this point. So we've got wave 2 here or wave 2 over here. So that's where they're the two counts. So we'll focus, because the short trade will come before the long trade. We need to focus on the short trade first with this, and that's been the theme last week, and it will also be the same this week as well. So we can just cruise in. I don't know what I've got on where. Okay, so let me just think about this for a moment. Yeah, there's different ways to view this. I can see that it could be viewed in different ways. So one of them will be able to be tactical to solve the problem. One of them is that we make a new high here and then we come down. The other one is we don't make a new high and we just have an ABC pattern here and then we come down at that point. So at that point, we will look to short it under this second low at that stage. So it just depends on how you want to. As I mentioned before, you could put wave A here and you could put wave A here. So there's just different ways to view this situation. So yeah, I didn't quite get to an answer on the whole thing, but kind of doesn't matter because it will work itself into a corner and it will have to come out. So the short trade will be set up in there. Just cruise in for a moment. Oh, that's just the bullish count. So like I said, the bullish count will take longer to set up. So yeah, okay, so here, so we can look at this as in two different ways. We can look at all of this as down for 1 here, coming back for 2 here, and then coming down, or we can just make a new high and then come down. So I'm not really going to worry about it at all at this point. So it doesn't really matter. We need the market to go up here, and if you want to trade this long and get out, then that's fine as well. But yeah, it's just not there yet. I mean, what's going to happen is we're going to have this low exposed here, so that gives us a short trade, but that's not going to help us that much because we know that the market's going to push up either to here or up to here in one regard or another. So yeah, because you can count this here. I suppose you could look at it different. Yeah, the two highs here are pretty close. There's just different ways to look at it. I don't think we need to do anything on that. And block here, I did read about the situation because the chief financial officer came over to Australia, and so I've seen a report in the financial news. So I think it was a short hedge fund, Heidenberg, which is a great name for a hedge short fund, isn't it? The Hindenburg. They put a message out to say that this particular company was allowing fraudulent money through their block. So they're defending that, but that's what's caused that. But in terms of technicals, it has breached this low here, which does make this whole thing up here corrective, as I mentioned before. Now, when somebody points the bone at you, then it sticks and it takes time. So this will probably do something of this nature. How far, 5 waves to this point here, something of that nature, possibly. Does it get any bigger to the downside? Possibly. So I'm not quite sure the best way to view this, but if you wanted to short it, you could short the retest at the 65 here. It's not going to go much past that. It might test the old high here, or that previous high just in there, but that would be the short trade. But that's not going to come until Wednesday, Thursday at least. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. Excuse me. Monday morning, getting going. So the banks here. Now I've just tightened the banks up a little bit here. Because I think with Tesla and Apple and that, when they come down as an ABC or a C wave, they've only got one leg to go down, and then they'll push up from this point. And anyway, if Bank of America doesn't stop at 20, then it's a little bit doomed at that point, and it would end up down at $5. And it's been there before, of course, but. Yeah, so I'm just sort of tightening this up, and I don't really understand this little area in here. Now, I know that on one of the charts we got a trade here somewhere, just probably under that low, and then we got another one under this low here. So if this is the case here, we could actually end up a bit higher here. So I don't know if you want to hold through that. We've got enough profit there, so we're not going to turn into a loss. If you've only got this trade here, then don't let that turn into a loss. Okay, I don't know what chart I've got them on, but that's basically where they are. If you've got the trade up here, then it's not such a big deal. You can play to win and play for more money. It takes courage to get to the other side, but because definitely we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at minimum, so we're definitely down at 20 at minimum. Could you hold back to 30? That would be the question. You could do if you've got this position, but if you've only got that one, do not let it turn into a loss. Okay, just exit it, because that Monday's going to be up and Tuesday's going to be up, and then we're looking for the turn lower in the week. So and the other thing is, it may just I like to sort of look at the worst. So between this top here and this bottom here, it may be just some sort of little ABC pattern here, which is probably likely by the buy, and then move down to that point. But I just have to point this out here. There's a case for this, but this is the conservative count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. Like I said, if it doesn't stop at 20, if there's something bigger, then it's not going to be a good look. You can go and have a look at the monthly chart for that. I just wanted to spend the rest of the time with this on a couple of the other banks. So this is Goldman's here, and with Goldman's here, it's the same sort of thing. We're looking at 1 and 2, and it's probably still in 3 and 4 here, finishing off, and it's going to be a little bit messy in here. It's just obviously today it's going to push up here somewhere, but it still needs to have a dance across here. You know how it can get, and then have that move down here to finish off here. So looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is also conservative as well here in all of this. Can we look at this as up for wave 1, back for wave 2, up for wave 1, an A and a B and a C loitering in here somewhere and not making a new low here? Yeah, we could, but it's a bit close to the previous low here, isn't it? So it's more likely to be this particular pattern here for this. Morgan's is a little bit sturdier, so I haven't labelled it here. I could actually get this in a bit of a different light with wave 1 and 2 here, and wave 3 here, and 4 here, and then 5 here, then an A wave, 3 waves up for the B wave, and then an A and a B and a C wave down here. Possible. This is probably the stronger bank at this particular point in time. So if we decided to go long at any point, it would be this one here, but I'll need to do some work on it. I probably have work on some 10-tick charts, but I'll still need to update that. But yeah, this one's holding up a little bit better. But yeah, I will do some work on it, because it'll be interesting to see that if it needs to make a new low here. Let me just have a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, whichever way you look at it, these keep on overlapping these here, whichever way you want to count this. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1. It just doesn't work. So it's got overlapping wave structures on those. So this is definitely corrective at this point. It'll take a long time for it to get down here, unless it's going to move quicker at this point. Alright, I'll put a little bit of work into that. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. So the takeaway with all of this is that we can see from the stocks that they need to move higher, and they will move higher on the Monday and the Tuesday. So we'll start to see weakness on the Tuesday probably, and Wednesday and Thursday are going to be quite choppy. They might give us the setup to go short at that point. And like I say, we have to look for the short trades first, because they're going to arrive first. The longer trades, and I'm talking about taking positions in the market, you know, so the short position trades will come first rather than the long position trades. It's not to say that the short side's going to win out, but looking at the banks, it's definitely, you know, the buyers at this point in time. But the tech stocks are on their own, and they're moving along quite nice. But I think they need to pull back. You know, that's the thing. So we're looking for that pullback in those. So it's a bit of a tricky thing to navigate through all of this, but yeah, like I said, Monday, if you want to make money, you need to be on the long side and look to take some of that off at the end of the day, and there'll be some profit taking on Tuesday morning, and then the trend will resume on lower volume to the upside, and Wednesday and Thursday will be the swing days, and we've got to kind of find out where we can set up to go short at those points. Alrighty, cheers.